All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Robert at Scott LeRoy Marketing. We'll get started with our KWConnect overview class in just a minute here. All right, so to get started using KWConnect, our first step is to get logged into mykw.kw.com. You can log in separately to kwconnect.com, but in our experience, that's been glitchy, iffy, hit or miss. So the best way to access KWConnect is through mykw. Okay, viewer 11 finally says they can hear me. I appreciate that. Okay, so the best way to access KWConnect is through mykw, so make sure you're logged into your mykw.kw.com homepage. And then up in the very top black menu, just to the right of where it says Home, we're going to click on Education. We're going to go into KWConnect through that Education link. Now, KWConnect is KW International's learning resource. This is where they've got a lot of their education materials online here, including all the materials for Ignite. It's not the same as going to a class, but the materials that you're going to need for class are here on KWConnect, as well as a lot of other things. And we're going to be going through most of that today. Where it takes us by default when we click on that education link is to the Keller Williams University page, or KWU. You'll hear that abbreviated there. That's a fine place to start, but instead, up in the top left, we'll click on the KWConnect logo to go back to the home page. We're going to start here on the home page. And by the way, one thing to point out, if you're ever lost in KWConnect, you don't know how you got where you are and you just want to get back to the home page, just click on that logo. That'll take you back to the home page of KWConnect. So we'll start here on the home page, and then eventually we'll go across this menu and talk about each of those menu items there. But we'll start on the home page and move down. The first thing you'll see is the KWConnect logo, takes you back home, and then we've got our menu to go to the different sections. And just to the right of the menu, we've got this little magnifying glass icon. That's a basically universal symbol for search. This magnifying glass, equals search. That's true on Google, that's true on Facebook, that's true almost everywhere. Anytime you see a magnifying glass, that means search. So if you click on that magnifying glass, it'll pop out a search box where you can type for what you want to learn today here on KWConnect. Now, here on the home page, there's actually a second search bar just underneath that. On the home page here, you can also search right here above this red ticker. Everywhere else, the search is going to be through this magnifying glass if you're on another page besides the home page. Just below the search bar here on the home page, is this ticker for high-producing agents that have joined KW from other brokerages. And these are very, very high-producing agents, 38 million annually, 35 million annually. What's the next one? I don't know. Very high-producing agents. And KW is just very proud that these high-producing agents have come over to KW from other brokerages. And you should be as well. Wow, 100 million annual production. You guys should be as well, because you're working for the best real estate company. It's the best for a lot of reasons. It's not perfect. No such thing as a perfect real estate company, but it is the best, and these agents know that, so you guys can be very proud of yourselves and your company there. Under that, we've got these sliding banners here. They're quote-unquote ads for material that's here in KWConnect. Pretty much all of these are going to be free stuff that you can access here in KWConnect, so they're not like trying to get you to buy anything. There are sometimes, let's see here. That's right here, Accelerate Your Business During the Shift. This is a free webinar, but then there may be some additional stuff after the free part that you can sign up for. It's up to you. Under that, this section here, they added recently, and I say recently as in the last couple of months, this is latest in tech. So this is the newest stuff that's going on with Kelly and KW Command, especially Command, because Kelly is fairly pretty much finished. We're just waiting on the Command features to be enabled in Kelly. So there's new stuff going on in Command, and you can learn about the newest stuff that's going on there in this section right here. And then down here, we've got this featured section, and I don't know what makes a video featured for the homepage. I don't know whether it's by KW University or young professionals, or whether it's from people with a lot of followers, or if it's just the newest stuff. I'm not sure. But you can click around here. This is going to be videos by default, and KWConnect is very, very, very video heavy. Most of the information here in KWConnect is going to be videos in the form of like instructions and classes. But you can also switch over to different types of content here. We've got audio, files, and links. Files is Word documents or PowerPoints or images or something that either KW International or other KW associates has uploaded here to KWConnect to share with everybody in KW. Or you can do links, which is links to resources that are outside of KWConnect, whether it's a Facebook post or something on Inman or something on the Wall Street Journal, some link to somewhere else that's not here in KWConnect. And those are the main file types, and you can search for each of those different file types up at the top. I forgot to cover that, but we'll cover more about that later. Also, in the search and here on the home page, we've got this little icon here that's got KW and it's got a person's silhouette. Right now, the KW is red. That means this one is active, and that tells me that it's KWRI only. So by default, this is going to show content from KW International channels like KW University or Young Professionals or Connect or something like that. Oops, I scrolled too far. If I check this, or excuse me, if I click on this other icon, that's going to be all. That's going to be content from KW International and content from other agents in KW. And then lastly, if I click off this KW logo, make it black and only have the red one here, this is going to be only associate content here on the home page or on the search. It's the same thing on the search. Coming down here, we've got a selection of upcoming courses in the next day or two. There's a lot of Ignite and ESO and ALC clinics that are starting in different market centers across the company. And this is pulling content, events from all market centers everywhere across North America, I think it is. So Canada and the US. So if you want more information about any of these individual classes or to view the full calendar, you can use this section down here. Down here, we've got trending searches, which is going to be searches that are the most popular, what people are looking for here in KWConnect, recommendations from KW International, and then a spotlight from KW International. And then down here at the very bottom, we do have this option to accept cookies because of that new law that went into effect in Europe. You do have to click that button every single time you visit this site. You can't click it once for all, unfortunately. Now from the home page here, instead of going across this menu, we will eventually, but instead of that for now, I want to cover another really important section, which is over here on the right. We've got this upload button, which is where you can share your content. So if you've got a video you want to share, or maybe a listing presentation, or your really cool business card template, or something that you want to share with other agents, a script, what's it called, a house walkthrough that you think other people should be following, things like that. You can share that using this upload button right here. And just to the right of that, it should show either your picture or a little person silhouette here. And if you hover over that, we've got this option here for My Profile. That's where we're going to go next. So if you'll click on that, and then here is Scott's profile. It's got his nice picture here in the circle on the left, and it's got his banner image across the top underneath the menu behind his profile image. And if we scroll down, we've got his biography here. We've got his production stats that he's decided to show on his profile here. We've got the memberships that he's, the parts of KW that he's a member of, which is commercial. You would also see like GPS or farm and ranch or luxury over here. And then we've got the service area, which Scott dictated here in his in his profile, which we're going to go look at in just a second. To edit this profile, we're not going to cover all this. That's going to take a whole lot of time, and we don't have time for all that. But to edit this profile, we're going to click on this red Edit My Profile link. It's fairly obvious, but I do want to point it out because a lot of people can't find it. But it's right there in the center in red, Edit My Profile. So this first one here, upload photo, you would choose a new file to have your picture in that circle. And then below that, we've got the banner image. That's that rectangular image behind that circle picture. If you hover over this little eye icon, it says required dimension, width 1920 pixels, height 313 pixels. It must match those dimensions exactly. It cannot be even 1 pixel off on height or width, whether it's bigger or smaller. It has to be exactly 1920 wide and 313 tall. It can't be any bigger or any smaller in either dimension. I say that over and over because it will not let you upload an image that is a different dimension. It'll give you an error and all of that stuff. So if you want to learn how to make your banner image exactly that size, we do have a class specifically for that. And I'm sending that to you here in the chat window. And if you joined us late, if you look up at the very top of your screen, just to the left of center, you should have this little speech bubble icon. If you'll click on that, that'll pop up your chat window here. And that's where I sent you that link to that class for how to resize that image. For that chat window, I do want to point out that's the place where you would want to send me any questions that you have. If there's anything you're unclear on, anything I accidentally skipped, or anything that I didn't cover that I should have, definitely let me know there in the chat window. Moving down, we've got email, which is your contact email. You can update that. Got your phone number and mobile phone. Don't know why there are separate fields for that, but you can put the same one in either one. You can put your cell phone here, office phone here. It's up to you. One thing to point out, this profile is 100% internal. Only other KW associates are going to be able to see this profile. Clients will not be able to see this profile. This is not public. This is not anywhere out on the internet. Clients are not seeing this. So you can be a little less, particular about this profile because it's not client facing. Clients will never see this profile. Which leads me to down here for the service area and bio. The service area is not where you want to list every single city, county, zip code, everywhere in your entire state. This is where you want to let other agents know, I work in this area and you can send me referrals for this area, or maybe this 2 or 3 areas. This is not meta tags. This is not a search function. This is not for clients. This is for other agents to know you work in this area and they can send you referrals for this area. And we'll get more about that later. Under that, we've got a biography here. This is, again, for other agents to see. So I'm going to get rid of that test change line from the last time I did this class and show you what that looks like updated on Scott's profile. Under that, we've got social media links, and these do require the full http://www.facebook.com/ and then the rest of your social media link there. Other places in KW, it only wants this part, but here in KWConnect, it does want the entire link in any of these fields. If you need help finding these profile links, we actually have a video that describes step by step, click by click, exactly where to find those addresses, and I just sent it to you guys there in the chat window. Coming down here to custom tags, this is, again, remember, clients are not seeing this profile. This is tags for the content that you upload here in KWConnect for other agents to see. So if you're uploading content, you're a buyer's agent and you've got some buyer scripts and you've got great objection handlers and things like that, and that's what you're sharing on KWConnect, that's what your tags should reflect. Your tags would not reflect listing presentation. Your tags would not reflect FSBO scripts because you don't have any of that content. So you want to make sure to be accurate with your tags so that when people are searching for content, your content comes up under the right categories. And that's, again, only for other KW associates. Clients are not seeing this. Under that, we've got this primary market center dropdown. If you're a member of just one market center, there will only be one market center in this dropdown. However, if you're a member of more than one market center, you would want to select whichever market center is your primary so that that can be displayed, so that that can be used in the referral search section. You will show up for the other market center in the referral search as well, but this one is going to be noted as the primary, the one you work in most often. Under that, we've got this email frequency section. This is how often you're going to be notified of activity here in KWConnect. And that's going to be things like someone comments on your content, or someone follows your channel here in KWConnect, or someone sends you a referral request or a referral network request. You can't turn these off completely, but you can send them once a week instead of every update or every day. Underneath that, we've got these switches here for the the stats that are going to be displayed on your profile. Yes means it's going to show on your profile. No means it's not going to show. Now, we've seen this be very, very iffy. If you turn something off and it still displays on your profile, like, we're going to turn these off here, and you click on this update button. By the way, you click on update here at the bottom or at the very top after making all of your changes, and that'll apply it to your profile. If I go back to my profile, Now we've got the new biography here, and we've got these stats here. You notice I unchecked the listings sold and leases sold, and it's still showing them here. So if that's happening to you, you would want to contact KW International Support. That's not something that we can help with. Their number is 512-306-7191. Okay, so we covered this profile to go over to the next section I want to cover, which is the My Referrals section. Trust me, we will get through the rest of this menu, but we want to go to My Referrals next because it's more important. Referrals is a new system from KW. I say new. It's about 6 months old from KW International for agents to send and receive and track and work with and close referrals here internally rather than just trying to keep track of it via email or text or sticky notes or things like that. It's a very organized system here inside KWConnect. Now, before we get started, I have to remove myself from Scott's network here because I want to show you how to add somebody. Okay, so this referral section here, like I said, you're sending referrals to and from other agents, and I'll show you more about how that process works. So to do that, I'm going to bring up, where is it? My KW, and go into My KWConnect. Actually, I should have gone straight to referrals here. There we go. So on the left is Scott, on the right is me. And actually, let me get rid of these bookmarks so it's even more similar. So left is Scott, right is me. Just want to keep that straight in your head here. So in Scott's network, he's got one person in his referral network. And the reason that is because Scott is not an agent. He's not going to be working with referrals. He's not going to be sending you referrals. So he doesn't accept any referral network invitations. You see there are 75 sitting here that are pending, not going to be accepted. They're just going to sit there. Same for me. I have 11 pending invitations. No reason to send me an invitation. I'm not an agent. I'm not going to be working with your referrals, nor are you going to be working with mine because I don't have any. So I say that to say your referral network is supposed to be a small, relatively small, hand-picked list of people that you would actually work with referrals with, whether you're going to send them referrals or you would like to receive referrals from them. This is not the place to add every single agent in your market center or in your city or in your state or in KW. This is supposed to be your people that you actually know of or you know personally, and you do actually want to send them your referrals or receive referrals from them. This is not a social network. You don't have to send a referral request to everybody you know, nor do you have to accept referral requests from everybody who sends you one. And we'll talk about that process and what it looks like in a minute, but I want to reiterate that this is not supposed to be a very large list. This is supposed to be small on purpose so that you know these are the people that I actually do want to work with. So building this list is a fairly simple process. We can go on this button that says Grow My Network, and I can do this on either Scott or on my side. I'm going to do it on Scott's side. And if I maximize this here, we'll see the full page here. Up at the top left, we'll point out that we've got, or excuse me, let me skip that. Over on the right, you can search for an individual person by their name. So I'm going to search for, I'll search for me actually. And it'll drop down, and there are two sections here for the results. One is My Referral Network, and that means people that are already in your network that would meet whatever search you put in here. And I'm not in Scott's network, so it's telling me there's no results. So out of Scott's network, we've got me here, and it's got my market center as York, Pennsylvania. So from here, excuse me, I can click on this or over here on this icon on the right, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to pop up a box for me to send, or for Scott to send, this invitation to me to join his referral network. And you can send a personalized message or not. This is optional. I'm not going to. I'm just going to click Send Invitation. And then after you send that invitation, you have the opportunity to actually just send this person a referral. It used to be, when the system first came out, you could only send referrals to people who were already in your referral network. You had accepted their invitation or they had accepted yours. They changed that fairly quickly, I guess, from feedback from agents to be able to send referrals to anybody regardless of whether or not they're in the referral network. I'm not going to talk about how I feel about that. So here for this referral request, you can send this person that you just sent the invitation to your network a referral, whether it's a buyer, a seller, or a renter. You would choose the referral fee. So say this is a buyer. That's the most common type of referral you're going to be sending to somebody. So we'll say this is a buyer, and for the referral fee, industry average about 25%. But say, this is going to be a I don't even know why you would change this higher, but say this is maybe a luxury buyer or a family member or something like that. You can send a lower referral fee, but we're going to make it really high just to make it a little bit ridiculous. And then this acceptance deadline. Oh, by the way, sorry, to make this ridiculous and to show you the countering process. The acceptance deadline is how long this agent, me, has to accept the sending agent, Scott's, referral or not. Under that, we've got minimum, maximum price. By the way, all of these fields are required. You do have to have something in every single box in this section. So minimum price, we'll call it $150,000. Maximum price, $250,000. Client name, we'll call it John Smith. Location is by default going to be this person's service area. The email for this client, so-and-so at kw.com. And then the phone number, I'm just going to put in our SLM number. How soon are they looking to buy, sell, or rent here? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or if you choose custom, you can do a different number of months, like 8 months or something like that. And then this checkbox, this one is optional, whether or not this person is pre-approved. We're going to check that box and say this person is pre-approved. And this only shows on the buyer side. Sellers and renters, it won't be there. It's only on buyer. And then down here for the note, again, this is required. You do have to send a note with this referral. So something like, this is my cousin. He is a horse dude and very down to earth, should be easy to work with, something like that. So we'll send this as a referral. So now we'll come back to that later. We'll come back to working with the referrals that are sent back and forth once we get finished with the search function here for other agents. So we started with, you can search for an individual agent's name up here in the top right, or over on the left, you can use filters to narrow it down to a certain area or a certain market center, and then you can choose an agent from there. So up in the top left here, first we want to search. So we're going to search by a city or by a postal code. So we're going to search like Denver, Colorado. So in here, it's going to show me in Denver are a lot of agents. There's going to be a whole bunch that show up in this list eventually. 1,218 agents in the Denver area. And these are sorted by closed units. So this is going to be, this guy is the highest producing agent in this area based on both buy and sell side closed units. On the map here, these blue dots, each and every one of these is an individual transaction that one of these agents over here handled. So there's a good concentration here, a good concentration over here. So if you click on any one of these, okay, it actually doesn't do anything. So we've got 1,218 agents here. That does not help you find an agent to send this referral to. So up at the top here, we can use different filters to narrow that down. Starting here, we've got Map View Production. When we click on that, our other options are Market Center or My Network. If I click on Market Centers, it's just going to show me individual market centers in this area. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 market centers in this area. If I were to click on any one of these, it'll pop out the list of agents in that particular market center. It looks like there's 64 agents in this market center. If I close this and click on another one, looks like there are 94 agents in this market center. Oh, so it looks like those results up there, I'm sorry, is actually closings, not individual agents. On this market center, we've got, what have we got here? 121 in this market center. So you can narrow that down by a particular market center, or in this menu here, you can also do My Network. Say you've worked with people in the past here and you've added them to your referral network. There's not anybody here, but you've added them to your referral network. It would show them on the map here in their market center as well. We're going to switch back to production. Check this box eventually. Maybe. There we go. And we're going to use these filters to narrow it down. So we're going to filter by total closed units. This is buy side, sell side. Whenever it finally drops down. There we go. So we want this person that we're going to send a referral to have at least 15 closed units in the past 12 months. This isn't going to be the calendar year. This isn't going to be from January to today. It's going to be from last November to this November. So we'll click filter to apply that. That narrows it down to 82. And then say this is a buyer referral we're sending. So I'm going to click on buy side, but you can do the same thing for listings sold. And you want at least however many of these closed units to be, we'll call it 10. We want 10 of their closed units to be buyer side versus sell side of their 15. So we'll click filter for that, and that narrows it down even further. There's 54 agents, 10 of their at least 15 closed units, and they can have more than 15, but at least 10 of their closed units are buy side. And then for KW specializations, I want to make sure that this person is either in MAPS coaching, or is a member of GPS, or is a member of luxury, or commercial, or land, or young professionals, or is an expansion agent. I'm going to pretend this is a luxury buyer, so I'm going to click on luxury there, click filter, and that narrows it down to 4. There are 4 agents here in the Denver area who have at least 15 closed units. At least 10 of those closed units are buy side and are also members of KW Luxury. So I can choose any one of these to send this referral to, or I can broadcast this referral. That means I would send basic information about this referral that I want to send to somebody to all 4 of them. So if I click on broadcast referral, it's going to show me basically the same fields here, but one thing to point out, this blue section right here separates information that will be sent to all 4 of them versus information that will be sent to the one that you choose after you get responses from these 4 that you sent this basic information to. So what you're sending to all 4 of them is that referral fee you're requesting, how long they have to accept this, and the minimum maximum price that this particular buyer is looking for, or seller, renter, whichever. And then down here, once you've heard back from these agents here, you'll decide, okay, I want to give this referral to, say it was Erin, she responded to you, I want to send this referral to her. She'll get the name and the location and the email and the phone and all this stuff after you do that. Now, I'm not actually going to go through this process because these 4 have no idea who I am. I don't actually have a buyer to send to them, so I don't want to confuse them or make them upset. So you would want to go through that process to try to find that referral agent in whatever area you're looking for yourself. Okay, so say, what am I trying to say here? Very similar to if you search by the name. Remember, we searched for me and we clicked on that name there. It popped up the invite to my referral network. It's the same process here. One of these agents, if you choose them, you can invite them to your referral network and then send them the referral, just like we did when we added me to the referral network. So what happens there, let me make this on the left here. We're going to switch back over to where we can see mine. And, oops, that's not what I meant to do. And so let me switch back here also to referrals on Scott's here. I'm going to go back to the My Referrals section. So Scott sent a referral network request over here to me, and he also sent me a referral. That referral network request is going to be notified to me in a couple of ways. 1, I'm going to get an email. 2, it's going to be a pop-up notification in the Kelly app. So if you want to learn more about Kelly and working with referrals there in Kelly, we do have a class specifically for that. We were supposed to have done that last week, but I was on vacation. So I'm going to be sending you the link to our Kelly classes that talk more about that. Where was I? So Scott sent me a referral request. So if I look at this pending invitations list here, Scott is going to be, I think, this is alphabetical. I can accept Scott's invitation. So now if I go back to my network here and I go to Scott's network, eventually, well, I guess I'll just have to refresh this. Now I am in Scott's network as well as this Rob Denning guy. I'm not sure who he is. I think he's a friend of Scott's. What am I looking at here? So now we can send referrals back and forth a little more freely, or we can find each other a little more easily if we were to try to find referrals in those areas again. Anyway, so now I'm in Scott's referral network, and if I go back to my referrals, I've got this new message up here for awaiting response, and so does Scott. So if I open this up on each of us, it shows me that this one is awaiting response from me. It shows Scott that this one's awaiting response from me. And it shows me that Scott sent me this referral request. This is my cousin, horse dude, very down to earth, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that sounds nice. But then I see, wait, 69%, he wants 69% of my commission for working on this buyer. That is redonkulous. So I'm not going to accept this. Instead, I can either counter it or reject it. Counter it means you can request a lower referral fee, or you can reject it and say, no, you're dumb, never talk to me again. Actually, not really. You can't block them. But you can reject this just because if you're not happy with any of the terms of this referral. So I'm going to counter this back to Scott. I'm going to lower this referral fee down to 20% just because Scott was really dumb for asking for that much. And he has, anywhere from 24 or actually 1 hour up to 4 days, 96 hours, to accept or counter or reject this request, this counter. And I'm going to send this back to, did you mean to do 69%? That's a little high. So I'll counter that. So now if I refresh this page on Scott's side, now under awaiting response, the ball is in his court. He has the option to accept, counter, or reject this referral. Did you mean to do 69%? That's a little high. I can counter it with, yeah, I really did mean 69%, or Scott can, yeah, he really did mean 69%. Or I can accept it and say, oh no, that was my bad, slip of the finger or something like that. So I'm going to accept this and do slip of the finger. Thank you. So I'll accept that. So now if I refresh this page on my side, we're going to see two different views now. On Scott's side, this is going to be under outbound, and on my side, this is going to be under inbound. Out from Scott, into me. Fairly simple. So now I can go start working with this referral and say, I met with John. He sounds like a nice guy, and we've got an appointment to go look at some houses on Sunday. So I'm going to send an update back over to Scott. Met with John, appointment to see listings on Sunday. Send that over to Scott. And now he would see that if I refresh this, there we go, met with John, appointment to see listings on Sunday. And then Scott can even update me back with, don't show him this style. It reminds him of his mother or something like that. So you can go back and forth with those updates. And then finally, when the deal is closed or when the deal doesn't make it through, you can close the referral. And either one of the parties can close the referral, the referring agent or the referral agent. So usually it's going to be the referral agent that is going to close this, and you'll tell it either it did close and that's it, you just click submit, or you can tell it did not close. And this would be for, financing fell through, it didn't appraise, they decided on a different property, they decided on a different agent, they decided not to move. I didn't like this person was, trouble to work with. They were a lot of work, lots of calls, lots of showings, and they never would commit, so I fired my client. We're going to mark this as closed. So we'll submit that. And now it's not going to be here in active referrals. Instead, it's going to be under view closed referrals. And I've done this class a number of times here, and this is going to be fairly full. So this is going to go under the not expired, not rejected, not lost, but funded. There we go. It's going to go under the funded section here. And this is that most recent one, or no, it's not. Most recent one is down here, this John Smith that Scott sent to me, and we did make it all the way through to closing. Okay. And then up at the top here, you can enter a referral to track manually just for your records. You can say it's from, or it's actually, I'll have to play around with that more. I don't want to give you guys wrong information. And then you can also send a referral to so-and-so in your network. You would just search for, this is only going to show people in your network, Rob Denning. Okay, so that's it for the referral section. Let me maximize this again. I'm going to pause here. Does anybody have any questions so far? If you'll look up at the very top of your screen, just to the left of center, we've got the speech bubble icon here. If you click on that, that'll pop up the chat window. If you have questions, definitely send them over to me there. I am monitoring that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our KWConnect homepage, and then we'll work our way across this menu. And we're going to have to do this fairly quickly. We've got more time than I thought I did. Good. Okay, for memberships here, this is those ones that I was talking about before. What's it called? GPS or luxury or farm and ranch or land or young professionals or mastery coaching. That's where it's going to show those and information about joining each of those. For the calendar here, this is actually pretty neat. This is pulling in events across all of KW. So this is any market center anywhere. You can find events that are going on, different classes, different team meetings, things like that. So if we click on, if we scroll down here, we're going to look at these events here. This appears to be, I believe this is just events in my market center. So that's a lunch and learn on Tuesday. This is November. So today is the 28th. There's a team, there was a team meeting today 42 minutes ago. Actually, this is York, Pennsylvania. So it's actually starting in 18 minutes. What's that? Tech Roadshow is tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Where is this? Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, so I've got my filter wrong, but this is, okay, that's good. We can look at that. So up at the top of the calendar here, if I click on Advanced Filter, this is all Market Center events that are classes that are lunch and learns. Okay, that's what it was. So let me uncheck all of this and show you what this looks like. Let me apply that filter. And it's going to take a minute because it's loading a lot. There we go. Okay, so this is all events everywhere, and it tells you, you see there are 96 more, there are 39 more, there are 96 more. The most it can show is 100, but if I click on that, it shows me there are 71 pages of how many here? What is it, 10 or 20? 71 pages of things that are going on this particular day across all of KW. So there's a lot going on. And to narrow that down, you can click on that advanced filter here. And you can sort or filter by whether these are going on at KW International over in Austin, whether these are hosted by my region or any market center in my region, my particular market center, any market center anywhere, or if they're KW commercial events. So I'm going to check my market center here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do all market center events. And is this going to be an event from somebody else, or is it going to be an event that I added to the calendar? That's not going to be something that happens very often, so we can leave that unchecked. And then what type of event is this? Is it a class? Is it an ALC meeting? Is it a team meeting? Is it a leadership consultation, a live stream class, or an other? I'm going to check ALC meeting, see if anything pops up. And then is this online or is this in person? We can leave those alone. You could check in person because ALC meetings are typically in person, but I'm going to leave them alone. So we'll apply filter here. So it looks like there are some ALC meetings going on across KW. So today there was an ALC meeting at 7:45, and that was at Kalispell, Montana. I probably pronounced that wrong. It's probably Kalispell or something, Kalispell. I don't know. Northerners are weird. Excuse me. And you can filter that down by, instead, let's do a class. And the class we want to show is Ignite. When is Ignite going on in any market center anywhere? And there's going to be a lot of results for that. There we go. There's like 12 different Ignites going on this day, 28 going on this day, 17 going on this day. So you've got information about where to go to Ignite anywhere. So if you want to poke through that, look at different events that are going on in market centers near you. The reason you would want to do that is, say your particular market center isn't hosting a 36-12-3 class anytime soon, but maybe a neighboring market center is. Or if you want to get into expansion systems orientation and it's not hosted by your region, but maybe the next region over is, or something like that, that's why you would want to be able to search other market centers events. Now, this information is automatically coming from the Market Center intranet calendar. So if your events aren't showing accurately on here, you would want to check with your market center leadership and make sure that they're updating the Market Center intranet calendar. That's where it gets its information. Okay, resources here. We're going to talk about a little bit each of these. KWConnect Live is exactly what it sounds like. Live classes, live videos, live shows that are going on here in KWConnect. And those are usually advertised on the KWConnect homepage for when the next one's going to be. Welcome New Associates is resources for brand new agents. It's information about logos and getting started with technology and getting started with stuff. Let's go look at it real quick. There we go. First steps, getting connected, set up your profile, boost your production, all that fun stuff. Culture is how KW relates to people, how KW interacts with people, and that's whether it's KW International as a whole or whether it's individual KW associates. It's the way that you and everybody in your market center and everybody in the company interacts with people, and there are specific ways that we're supposed to be doing that. If you want to learn more about that, you would go to culture right here. This is where you can learn about KW Cares or KW Kids Can or things like that. Events is the big ones, the ones that KW International hosts, like Mega Camp or Family Reunion or Expansion Systems Orientation, excuse me, or Franchise Systems Orientation, and you can get information about each of those on that page. Industry is how KW, mostly KW International, is interacting with the real estate industry, whether it's other brokerages or service providers or MLSs or things like that. Keller Mortgage is that new system from KW International where they've opened a mortgage company. If you want to get started working with Keller Mortgage, there is a sign-up process that you would need to go through, and that page has information about that. KWU we're going to click on. KWU, again, covered this near the beginning, means Keller Williams University, and this is where you're going to find information about all the official classes from KW International, including Ignite, which is the most popular one. That's why they put it here on the first page, but also Shift, curriculum paths, interviews with KWU, what are they called? Instructors and high producers, lunch and learns, and then faculty, which is KWU instructors, information about that. So we'll click on courses here, and we'll be able to see all the courses that are provided officially by KW International. And there are a lot of them. There's several dozen. It actually doesn't tell me how many, but on this page, it's alphabetical, so you're going to be able to find Ignite right here where I is supposed to be. You'll also see career visioning, which is hiring. You'll see ALC clinic stuff. You'll see 30, 60, 90. You'll see, what's that, KW video, how to use that. All that fun stuff you can find here on this page. And if you click into any particular class like Ignite, you'll be able to see that information. Ignite is kind of special with these buttons here. Your Ignite instructor will tell you how to use these here. You can also go over here to materials, and you can find all of the downloadable PDF content for the Ignite session that you're going to need. And then e-learning organizes that into the individual power sessions here, and it'll show you the content that you're going to need and the videos that you're going to need for that particular power session. You're not actually attending the power session online here. In fact, I'm not even sure what this is about. And then, oh, by the way, if you click on student resources, that's the one I was talking about. That organizes it into, this is what you need for power session 1, this is what you need for power session 2, 3, all of that fun stuff. And it does have US and Canada here. Back under resources, we've got MAPS coaching. If you want to get into group coaching or one-on-one coaching, there's information about that there. Marketing, we'll click on. First thing on the page here, oh, sorry, I got ahead of myself. So logos and branding, this is where you can find your KW logo and how to use the KW logo. Here's a listing presentation template. This is the #1 question we get about KWConnect. Where can I find the listing presentation template? Right here. You've got your red label clothing, you've got your upfront magazine, press release templates, social media information, and what's it called? Tips, and then resources for leadership. If we click on logos and branding, the first thing on the page here is the KW Identity and Style Guide. This is a PDF document that tells you how you are and are not allowed to use the KW logo. It tells you you can't squish it sideways or top to bottom. It tells you you can't change the colors. So you want to be looking through that style guide if you're looking to use the KW logo on any of your marketing. It lets you know what you can and can't do. Under that, we've got this section here where you can search for a particular market center's logo. So you would put in your market center's name or your market center's number. So like we'll put in Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast right here, 196, that's Pensacola, that's where I'm from. So that would be the market center name is Gulf Coast. I could also put in 196, it would show me the same thing. Now, if you put in something like, what is it called? I don't know, if you type in your market center name or your market center number and no results pop up, that means that KW International doesn't have a particular market center logo on file for your market center. So your leadership would need to contact KW International to get that added to this section. Once you find your logo, you can download that in a zip file, and that's got multiple different file formats. You've got EPS, PNG, JPG, CMYKs, all that fun stuff. If you don't know what any of that means, just send the whole zip file over to your designer, whoever's making your business card or your sign or whatever. They know what to do with the individual formats. And then down here, we've got plain KW logos that are not branded for any particular market center. Marketing MCAs. This is information for MCAs about like Account Edge and Win More and MC Angel, things like that. Technology is setting up your KW technology, what's new in KW technology, information about the individual technology pieces, Keller Cloud, training, productivity tools, all that stuff. Leverage, whenever you hear leverage in KW, that means hiring. So if you're looking to hire an admin or a buyer specialist or a listing specialist, you would look in the leverage section. There's a whole prescribed system for how to go about hiring the best person for the job. And if you don't go through the whole system, you can run into problems. There's a lot of horror stories of people that sort of followed the career visioning path, but didn't really, and they ended up with somebody who wasn't a good fit for the job. But if you follow this it's actually, I'm not going to give you any numbers, but it's more likely to get you the right person for the job. And then profit share, you can talk to your team leader about. That's how associates get rewarded for building KW, for bringing other associates into the company and building it and getting them into production, and them getting into production. It's actually not, you don't have to get them into production. Anyway, your team leader can tell you more about that. For Ask Agents, this is a forum. This is where you're supposed to be able to ask agents, other agents, how to become a better agent. Something about something like, I've got this FSBO, they're being difficult. They do want to work with an agent, but they want to entertain a bunch of people and they're not making a decision. Help me out. That's where you can post here. This is where you can post that. Or does anybody have a great idea for a seller script or a great way to what's that called? Lead generate that I haven't thought of before, or where do you hand out your business card that you get the most business from, and things like that. This is where that's supposed to be coming. What it's turned into is I've got this referral for this area, who wants to do it? And that's not what this section is for. That's what My Referrals is for. There is a broadcast section specifically for this. So use Ask Agents for what it's intended to be. It's a forum. It's for questions. It's not for referrals. Go to the My Referrals section for that. Technology here, we've got videos and resources for using your KW technology. Updates from Gary Keller, John Davis, Josh Team. He's in charge of KW technology, basically. The vision for where KW technology is going, training, latest in labs, all that fun stuff. And then for growth here, there's 3 sections here. We're going to start with the second one here, which is the growth initiative. That's what came first. Back in 2011, KW International introduced the growth initiative, and that was for team leaders. That was for them to build their market centers, recruit and bring people into the company. And there were certain benchmarks, certain metrics, certain requirements for team leaders to meet that were part of the growth initiative. And because of that, KW has now become the #1 real estate company in the country. And before that, it became the largest real estate company in the country by agent count. And it was through the growth initiative. So the growth initiative works. It has been proven to work over the last 7 years, which is what has made KW into the company it is now. So the growth initiative works. There's no denying that. There's proof. You see it right in front of you every day in your market center, because we are the #1 company in the country. So in 2016, they translated that to the Career Growth Initiative. This is the same principle, but for individual agents. It's helping agents build their own business rather than building KW International as a company. So they took the same principles, the same goal setting, the same tracking, the same types of numbers calculations, and translated them over for agents. And it helps agents build their business. And if you follow the Career Growth Initiative and you use the tools that are in there, it will help you build your business. That is guaranteed, because it has been proven through the Growth Initiative. It's the same principles for agents rather than the company. And then Growth Resources is more for leadership. It's actually, let's go see what's on there. Sharing your story. And that's basically what the Growth Initiative is about, sharing your story so that you can build your business. Productivity Solution Funnel. Wow, fun stuff. Okay, I don't know what's on this page really, so you guys poke around, have some fun with that. So what are we looking at here? For till, is there anything else I need to cover? Oh yeah, let's cover search. So let's search for something. Let's search for that listing presentation that we get questions about a lot. So by default, this is going to show me all types of content, whether it's a video, audio, an individual user, documents, links, courses from KWU, pages on KWConnect, communities within KWConnect, or I don't know what vendors is. I don't think there are any vendors. So we're going to start with all types here. By default, it's sorted by newest first with courses at the top. So Anna the Realtor, I don't know why this comes up under listing presentation, but this is the most recent thing that matches that listing presentation. But down here, we've got a pre-listing packet for FSBOs that Renee Miller has shared. And then listing presentation slides from Vicky Shar, or a team meeting presentation from Kathy Frederick. So there's a lot of content from KW Associates here. You can also sort this by, and what you're gonna want most often is relevance, more likely. There we go, Ignite pre-listing presentation for sellers. That's uploaded by KWU. 2018 KW listing presentation template. This is by KW International, uploaded by Terry Moylan. SELA, so this is from a particular market center. This is from a particular market center. Editable listing presentation from this particular agent. So if you want listing presentation templates from other people, this is where you find them. You can also sort this by most popular. This is that KWConnect one from, looks like it's from that, what is that, resources, where was that? Marketing? Yeah, it was under marketing, I remember now. #1 KW Resource Toolkit. So in January, February, one of those, we broke that #1 spot, and now you can share that and make yourself stand out because we are the #1. How to use scripts, all of that fun stuff. Now, speaking of scripts, let's search for that. Let's search for a FSBO script. Okay, so we're here in all types. Again, it's going to by default do newest first. Let's try most popular again instead. Create a system to secure listings from KWU. How to use scripts from, KWU. Listing presentation from KWU. Wow, there's a lot of stuff from KWU. Lead gen for listings toolkit using the KW mobile search app, and this is from John Davis. He's one of the co-CEOs of KW. So there's a lot of content for basically anything you want to learn about as far as how to be a real estate agent, how to build your business, how to be successful. What's not so much in here is the individual market center type stuff, like what's required for a buyer as far as paperwork in dotloop, or what's required for a seller, or about lead-based paint disclosures or things like that. Those are going to be different for each and every market center, each and every MLS, each and every state. So that's not so much what's here in KWConnect. You may be able to find some of that from individual associates where they put it in there, but KWConnect is more for how to be a real estate agent, how to build your business. Okay, so it's just about 1 o'clock here. I'm going to open it up for questions. Again, if there was anything you weren't clear on, anything I didn't cover, anything I skipped, because I'm not perfect, I 100% admit that. Look up here at the top of your screen. You should have this little speech bubble icon. Let me move this down just a little bit, just in case you can't see that. That speech bubble icon, if you'll click on that, that'll open up the chat window here. This is where you want to send me questions. If you don't have any questions, or you're not interested in other people's questions, you're welcome to go on about your day. But if you do have a question, don't be shy. Definitely ask that question, because someone else, whether they're currently in the class now or watching on a recording later, will probably have the same question. So definitely send it over. There's no such thing as a dumb question, promise. I will leave the recording open for another minute or two while I wait for those questions.